everybody, welcome back. I'm going to talk a little bit louder because I'm actually here in the truck. So, as that makes it different from any other time being in the truck, right? This is going to be a little bit different. I know I say this a lot, but I'm going to give you a lot of nuggets and a lot of food for thought and kind of expand your mind here a little bit. You know, Jesus said a long time ago, you wouldn't fear if you wouldn't look around the world and you wouldn't watch the news. The news is going to give you bits and parts. I don't care which news source it is. Are they always 100% or do they add stuff? I believe they add stuff to get you to come back. Because like I said in previous videos, you can turn in Monday and Friday on the news and I guarantee you're still going to hear the same thing. Moving to Florida and coming back from Florida, there was a couple of years gap in there. Come right back and everybody's still doing the same, but a little bit more corrupted. It kind of blows your mind. You ever think about millionaires and billionaires? How do they become so wealthy? How do they build this empire? Well, if you dig into the Jubilee, which I hate to say that Israel don't even hold it. Well, go figure. They're still waiting on the Messiah, which we know he's already been here. Every 50 years is supposed to be a great reset. You give back. Everything's restored. So if every 50 years, these millionaires and billionaires wouldn't be in place today, they'd have to give back. They'd have to start over like everybody does. Because the government takes so much out of us. This government is so corrupted. It is so out there. I mean, how do you even justify? We pay taxes to the worst corruption. I mean, we're focused on China, what China's doing. We're focused on what every nation's doing. While we're sitting here struggling. You think of all the outsourced jobs. It's all being done in different countries. United States is supposed to be this mighty force. We're becoming the weaker. Donald Trump tried to stop this. Hold on, I gotta figure out where I'm at. He tried to pull the jobs and tried to pull everything back to America. America wasn't having it. Who didn't want it? The Republicans, the Democrats. I don't care. And you can say, Nelson, how is that? The Republicans are supposed to be for us. Are they? How much money do they have? They don't want this. They want to keep it. They want to make more money. We are allowing this stuff. They're telling us what they're going to do. What is this? Forming New World Order. When New World Order takes over, you're going to be fearful. You're going to be beyond fearful. They're already doing it. The new temple's about to be built in Israel. When this breaks ground, look at what he's already done. The Pope, the false prophet. He's already made a new commandment. Well, be careful playing God. We've done this enough. We are at fault here. We don't hold the government to what it's supposed to be. We the people. We the people don't exist to them. They spit on our Constitution. Because we allow it. We are not the victims. We are allowing ourselves to be victims. We don't stand up for it, but you look at everything else that comes out there that is in numbers, somehow this stuff passed. You know why? Because we're in a demonic time. Daniel 9 speaks of this. 70 times 7. What do you think he's talking about? We go into Revelations, and it speaks of Babylon. What do you think we're entering? This mysterious Babylon that nobody wants to talk about. Especially the government. As they smile and they move around. You look over the Arctics and stuff, some of the bizarre things that are being captured in pictures. What the heck is this stuff on top of these mountains? We don't know. You know why? Because we're too busy watching Ukraine. Ukraine's another fake 9/11. And I'll say it, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. 9/11 was American done. Bottom line on that. I know some of you serve in the military, but people, look at the facts, go in there and research. You still can find, people have this footage. There is still people sharing it. You will see exactly what I see from the beginning. Airplanes just don't hit buildings and disappear. The numbers don't even add up. You believe what you want to believe, just like you believe to put the mask on. They want to weaken us. They're doing a heck of a good job at it, and we're allowing it. They want to control. They have to take control. What are they taking control of, people? When next vacation you take and you drive in a car, or you're driving around, you don't even got to go far these days. Every state's starting to happen. You know them big windmills? I call them windmills because that's what they look like, big giant fans. It's producing electricity. Solar farms, organic, government. How in the world can they use something God supplies us with, air, light, sun, and they take all this stuff, make it, and they want to charge us an arm and a leg for it. And then they want to turn around and charge us. Another company wants to jump onto the bandwagon. How many companies do we truly need to give us service? It's a racket. You ever pay attention to your utility bills? Seriously.
Keep left onto I-465 toward I-465.
You ever look at the charges? Do you even know what half these charges are? I mean, they charge us for paper, charge us for this, and everything's done online. If it's done online, majority of the people pay their bills online. What paper are you wasting? And most of this stuff, you can't even talk to a human anymore. It's all voice robots. If you ask me, the only person making any money out of this nonsense is Elon Musk. And again, if we were doing the 50-year reset, he wouldn't be where he's at today. These people gain so much power because they control so much money and they control the government. They're destroying us day by day. They're weakening us. And we're sitting here thinking, wow, this is great. Yeah, the only people that's thinking this is great is what the government's doing. Government bailouts. They're doing the stimulus. Where do you think all this money come from? You know what they're going to do? They're going to turn around and slap it right back in our faces. Well, this trillions of dollars, you guys all enjoyed spending it. as we laugh to the bank, thinking we're getting free money, now you're seeing cards and YouTube, man, they post all kinds of crazy stuff. It's amazing the stuff they allow too sometimes. But yet, everything else is not where it's supposed to be. And I'm not even going to go into that whole ordeal, but trust me. So where do we go with this? Well, we know Christ is on his way. And we have to be ready. So how do we become ready? We have to become ready by knowing what's happening. We have to finally open our eyes and take these spiritual blinders off that the devil's trying to put on us. One world order is control. And if we can't see the control, and if we don't know what's going on behind the curtain where the Mr. Wizard is in The Wizard of Oz, we're not so far off from that now, are we? You know, we did, but the only difference is we can't tap our magical ruby slippers that we've had all along. But wait, can we? Yes, we can. We have the Bible. The one book that still remains a #1 seller. How is that when nobody seems to read it? Because if you read the thing, you would not be in the predicament that we're in.
Second left onto I-465.
They want to ban our religion. Do you belong to a religion? I don't. I belong to Jesus Christ. Jesus is not a religion. Jesus is my life. A religion is what you go into these churches, and inside these churches, that's a religion. Because that's just plain nonsense. And I'm not saying all churches, yes, we're supposed to fellowship. What is fellowship? Where in the Bible does it say I must go into a building to fellowship? It says I must fellowship with fellow Christians. Well, I am fellowshipping with you guys. So where in it does it say I must go into a synagogue, a church? Does it? So you're telling me Jesus was at fault because he didn't walk into a church building? I mean, I could do a whole teaching just on that. So hopefully this is recorded because I didn't hook up a mic. I was just driving and I started thinking about all this. Again, it's why I'm talking loud. So anybody stumbles across this goes, man, why is this guy yelling? I'm yelling because I'm in this noisy truck driving, and normally I'm in the back in the bunk.
Take the first exit on the right onto I-74.
So, people, we have to really start examining what's going on. If we're not doing the reset, and the fact that the government is forming united with these countries. Think about this. We've been doing this for a while. It's not just now with the Biden administration. Obama, when he was in office, really tried to destroy us. Well, now they're back. They're back. If you ask me, and we should have just said, here you go, Obama, here you go, Vice President Biden, and let's do it all again for another 8 years. Because I'm telling you right now, in the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson wrote, he recommends 2 terms. Doesn't say anything where you have and you cannot run again for presidency. I'm here to tell you, if Obama went up against Donald Trump, Obama would win. Donald Trump would fall. You can't mess with reality. It is reality. Donald Trump was probably one of the most truthful people because he wasn't a politician. He was like us. Yes, he filed bankruptcy. Yes, there's tax issues. But it's not, when you hire somebody, look, I spoke about my own life. I looked at the books. The books said one thing. But guess what? In the end, my name was all over, and I'm responsible for it. I don't never walk away and put the blame on someone else. It's my fault. I should have went to the banks. I should have looked at how much money was there. Where is the money? I should have got the printout. Well, by the time I did, I was in financial trouble. I mean, big time trouble. Oh, wait. Nelson, are you talking about your personal life, or are you talking about the world? Good question. Glad you asked. I don't have no clue anymore, because look at what's around us. I mean, the rise of food. Food's going to start becoming short. I tell Darlene all the time, I'm like, listen, when you start seeing the pantry, food not come in, and it's starting to become less and less. Why does that happen? I'll tell you why it happens. Because people are not donating. The stores don't have to donate. They figured out they can buy less quantity and sell it out and make us panic. They can rise the prices now. You think this is nuts? I'm telling you, there's truth behind this. You look at the false prophet, the Pope. You look at what he's doing. He has put forth the New World Order. That's what the false prophet's supposed to do. And so many people are bowing down to it. We had the Cardinals. They turned their back, from what I understand, on the Pope when he walks in. Overthrow it! Get rid of it! When do we not have the rights to do and remove people that's doing wrong? If this was out here, we would be in jail. They're human. They are not above the law. But guess what they're doing? Making their own laws. Forming united with other countries. Ukraine was a setup. I've spoken this on other videos too. They want to take over. They have to finish, and they will. The United States is part of this. Sure it is. Think about it. We must all unite together. All nations. Well, we're not too far off, people. Rumors of wars. Putin. I don't care. What's he gonna do? Nuclear war, he knows, well as everybody else, it's just a fearful tactic. Drop the dang on thing already. Because what do we have to fear? So what? It annihilates the United States. Most of it. You don't think all that pollution coming up, what are they going to do? You know how many years you're going to have to wait inside of a bomb shelter? Good luck. You will go stir crazy mad. I guarantee it. Being locked in a box. Go inside your closet, shut the door, and sit there. Sit there for about an hour. No phones, no nothing. Just go in there and sit. In complete darkness. Yeah, you may turn on a little light because I'm sure they're going to have lights in there. Or will they? How are they going to generate it? Think about this. You're going to go total darkness. You're only going to have so much generator power. Yeah, maybe run off of solar, but will that wipe out because of the drop of nuclear bomb? I believe it would. Eventually, you've got to come out. And you're going to die. I would rather die than lock myself in a bomb shelter for years. But I'm not going to die. I'm not of the world. I don't belong here. This is not my home. I'm just passing through. Yeah, you can call me an alien. I used to go, man, what are you, nuts? I'm not an alien. I'm not one of them extraterrestrial looking things like we see on the Space Odysseys and all these movies. If you ask me, I think the cutest little alien was E.T. remember when that movie came out, I was young. I went out in the woods all the time looking for E.T. I figured he'd be the best friend in the world. Some of this stuff, some of you may get anxiety over this, some of you may get fear, but I'm telling you, fear's a liar. The devil's a liar. Don't let anything I'm saying, it's just to open your eyes, it's to prepare you. I had this visions over and over. It just keeps coming back. I actually see this stuff, and it's kind of frightening. I mean, I can honestly say, on the and if you would think going to hell, going through what you went through in life, no, this really frightens me, people. These demons, they're like, I would say probably, if they stand upright, almost probably 7 foot tall, I would imagine. I don't know how tall Shaq is, but I understand he's pretty tall. I would imagine if he's close to 7 foot, that's about what you're looking at when they stand upright. These things got these long arms and legs, but they run on their hands and feet, but their arms like fold backwards to where they run almost like a spider would run. And I've talked about this before. I believe in this darkness that everybody's talking about. See, I seen the same thing, but it's a darkness, not so much darkness. It's almost like, I mentioned this before. Have you ever seen the movie The Mist? That's what I see. And people died. People disappeared in this mist. Well, through it, as I opened the door, and the people, I was in this like warehouse-looking building, and these people were freaking out. Don't go out there. Don't go out there. What do you mean? I'm going out there. I got to see what the heck we're dealing with. And that's just how I am. I've always been like that. You know, if there's a demonic realm, I'm telling you, that one of the houses that when I was older, I didn't care what noise it was, I was going to look. And you'd be surprised the things I would run into. But these demons, these spider people I call them, they are grabbing people and just dragging them. I mean, they're holding them by their claws, and I've watched people grab a hold of the ground and their fingernails are busting off. Their fingertips are wearing down to the bones by trying to stop themselves as they drag them over rock, concrete, blacktop, surface of the dirt, whatever, and they're dragging them into the pits of hell. You may say, why not the Christians? Because these are all the fallen people of the earth that does no more justice for Satan. Remember, the Illuminati world and the demonic realm, if you're not gaining for Satan, you're useless. That's why they all go on there and do the upside down triangle or the upright triangle, or they're doing like the OK thing and putting it over their eyes. Start watching what people do, and you'll see these symbols. You see them standing on a black and white checkerboard or wearing a black and white checkerboard, per se, shirt or something. What do you think that represents? It's demonic. It means something in the demonic realm. That's all I'm going to go into this. Because there's a lot of people that may stumble across this that are not here for good. They're here to find out stuff. We today have more power because of the internet. And if that's the case, everybody's posting all kinds of stuff. You literally can go on there and know how to do whatever you search on all-knowing Google. Well, what is Google? What is going on? Someone's punching this information in. Do you really trust something that you don't know who's feeding you that information? The churches are upside down. We are in such trouble. But we keep allowing it. United we stand. You might as well throw the united out and say, united we sit. Because we're united under that. Or it's someone else's responsibility. Well, I'm not going to go in front of the Savior and go, listen, Lord, I know you told me a long time ago, use my voice. But instead, I sat back and said, well, God's got it. Yeah, right, God's got it. He made us. He made us. We're going to pick up our cross and walk. I don't know, that means something. It means a lot to me. I've watched a man go through and sacrifice himself. And I listened to the moans and the pain coming out of him. The thorny crown of thorns that they placed on him and punctured him. And he yelled out, watching him walk and just shake. Like when you're cold in the wintertime, if you get snow. You just can't stop shaking. I'm sure everybody at one time has been cold in their life where you would actually shake a little bit because you're cold. Your body, it's a warning system. You think about his kidneys and his body parts, his organs shutting down by going through it, let alone his heart. Had to go through all that. But how long did he truly stay on the cross? Before it couldn't go into the next day, and they went up here and broke the legs and went over to Jesus. At that time, he already gave up his life, because the Bible speaks, he shall have no broken bones. So naturally, he waited and waited and waited before he surrendered himself. He took all the sin on. But look at the sin. We're happy with it. We even call stuff Sin City. It's okay. You have so many different religions because they want to pull the Bible. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, you're two of the biggest targets that I will target over and over and over. You have got to be the worst of worst. And I'm not saying any religion is 100% right, because it's not. It's not anymore. Unless they're truly feeding you the Bible and truly fellowshipping when you do walk in there, and truly reach out and doing what Christ did. If it's not Christ done, get out. Period. Leave it. There is no soul on this earth worth you staying here when Christ comes. I'm serious. You may say, well, I love my husband. I love my wife. I love my girlfriend. I love my boyfriend. Okay. Well, that's fine and dandy. I love all of you. But if you think I'm going to risk my life to stay here and remove my own name from that book of life, you got another thing coming. I will never, ever, 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 ever. I would rather go on the island and take my Wilson with me. And my Wilson is my Georgia. You may say, well, what about your wife? Well, I'm talking about if my wife was falling away. I can't I can lead my household the way that God expects me to do. God says to love your wife as I love the church. Okay, I do that. I respect her. I make sure there's food on the table. I make sure the bills are paid for. I make sure all her needs are met. That's loving my wife. That's taking care of my wife. I make sure there's no nonsense coming there. Now, I can speak against it. I can say no. But if they allow the devil in, then you gotta deal with the devil. You have to deal with your own devils. You notice I'm saying devils because you just keep letting them in. And I'm not talking Lucifer, because if you were dealing strictly with Lucifer, you wouldn't stand a chance. And I'm being serious. You're not strong enough. I don't care if you can bench 450 pounds. Lucifer could take one little pinky and just lift you up, jam his finger right up under into your chin, and hold you there, look at you and smile. Think I'm kidding? You'll see. If you're left here, you'll definitely see. All this laughing and mockery and all this garbage, it's disgusting. We're putting up with too much. We're allowing the schools, we're allowing our government. Sodom and Gomorrah, I think Sodom and Gomorrah was probably a lot easier than what this mess is. Well, how do you say that? Well, I'll tell you how I say it. They didn't have computers. They didn't have everything at the touch of their hand. The Lucifer is giving us every avenue to sin, and we fall into it. You may say, that's crazy. Well, hold on a second. Listen, it's not crazy. The devil puts people in your place and you don't even know it. You think, wow, because he's already opened doors. What do you mean? Well, the door's open, we peek our head in there, we start liking what we see, and the older we get, the more you start to act on it. I've ran into a few people over the years, and you know, back in the partying days, you're drinking, carried on. This girl walked up to me one night. She says, "What are you doing?" And I was very, I guess, a smart mouth, I guess. I said, "What does it look like? I'm sitting here." She goes, "Are you always like this?" "Pretty much. What you see is what you get. So I guess you're going to move on and go find somebody else to talk to." She said, "No, you're interested." Okay, now you got my attention. Let's hear this spiel. I never was easily fooled, and I still am not today. Not that I'm better than anybody else, because I watch people. I learned that from the demonic realm, believe it or not, I did. So if there's any positive of the demonic realm, I learned how to watch people. And I can smell them a mile away. How is that so? Because it's got a certain smell to it. Now, I'm not going to go into details on this. So don't comment. Don't say you want to know, because I will never give it to you. And I will never. And I put my word on that. And I'm not going to break my word. Just like I won't give you names. Like some people out here, it kills me. Some of these prophetic people, they mean well, but they're giving names to sorcerers. Are you insane? These young teenagers and these young adults that's coming up in this Harry Potter field wants to cast spells. You don't think they're going to go pull these books? We're opening freaking Pandora's box. We're going to lead people into the devil's lair because they're going to want them names. I'm just saying. that's why I won't say the names. I don't want that blood on my hand. You can't wash blood off. Go back and read about Cain and Abel. Abel's blood cried out. What did you do? I didn't do nothing. Where is your brother? I don't know. It's not my turn to watch it. Well, his blood's crying out to me. You ever wonder why the Middle Eastern country is the way it is? Because it's hate. They grew up in hate. The person that developed it was hatred. People, history is very important. History is not supposed to repeat itself, but we are repeating it. We're to the point now, we're starting to make a new chapter. The only thing about the Jubilee that's coming true is the New World Order. I know I'm all over the place and I'm running you back and forth and I'm bringing right back into certain places. Sometimes it keeps your attention. Sometimes it makes you think a lot longer on what's going on. Sometimes we just need to really sit back and look and examine ourselves. This is the time we need to examine ourselves. This is the time if you can't physically do it. You ever fill out a paper and on that paper you're looking at how do you see yourself type questions? Man, you will struggle so hard. And why do you struggle with that? I'll tell you. Because you don't want to put, oh, I'm the best out of 1 out of 10. I'm a 10. Man, where's the 20? I want to go to the 20. I'm a 20. I ain't no 10. That's what's happening. Pridefulness. Well, who else is prideful? Lucifer. We're failing. And we're crying out to God. God, do something. Really? How many boats do I have to send you? Because we like to metaphor everything. Kind of got into a back and forth little debate, I guess, which I don't like to do. Sometimes it's necessary. Person says, well, if the Spirit fell down upon Jesus as a dove and it landed in him, how did the dove get inside of him? I'm trying not to laugh, but he makes a good point. I said, no, it appeared as like a dove falling down. Appeared. Didn't say what was. Show me in the Bible, because I went last night and I looked at the 2 Bibles that I have out here, the other one I took home. And I even looked it up. I looked up the King James Version. Nowhere it said was a dove. It come down. That's why it amazes me that people have these doves flying around and stuff, and they're people, good night. It's like a dove flying out of heaven, unless it truly speaks this. I've yet not come across it. But why would God send his Spirit as a dove to land on Jesus? How is that even physically possible? What is the dove going to do? It would have to disappear. This is like saying the dove landed on Jesus and went into his body, but yet nobody's seen it. Or did the dove fly off? This is kind of like 9/11 in the plane issue hitting the building. It was a hologram. It appeared to be that way. Again, I will apologize if it does say it was, but I have to see the word was, not appeared. Because all I find is appeared. It doesn't really matter. God poured his Spirit into Jesus. Jesus went out to the wilderness. Jesus went to the cross. He then went back up to heaven and poured the Spirit of them both, which makes up, united as one, makes up one Spirit. It is holy. The Bible doesn't speak of it, but how can you take two holy things and combine it and we're into there? Now, if that Spirit enters our temple, our body, our flesh, our spirit, unites with them, well, then that's why I'm doing daily cleaning. I'm cleaning. And if I'm finding anything, I'm pruning it out. If not, I'm asking Jesus, prune it away from me. Prune it away, let me start the fire. You provide the fire, and I'll provide the sacrifice, Lord. You make that fire burn, and I'll give you my sacrifice. I'll lay myself down, because I know you shall rise me up. I know you shall make me new again. I hold to these promises. I hold to this effect. I fear not this world. I fear not what they can or think they can do. Because I know you are mighty. I know you are the same, Father, today as you was yesterday. And if you were the same yesterday, you would be the same a week ago. You were the same a month ago. You were the same 2023. I had to stop thinking where we're at. 2023 years ago. You were the same before we were even thought of. So how can we be wrong? Because he's not wrong. Man's wrong. Man's going to be wrong because they're seeking self-righteousness. Lucifer is roaring like that lion. Well, you may say, don't use the lion like that. I don't use the lion because that's exactly what he's portraying. It's what he's going to betray himself as. Read the Bible. You can't be deceived. You can't take offense to everything because it's hurt to your ears. Well, good. Wake up. Wake up, United States. Wake up, world. I would name off some of the countries, but I think I would have started offending people because I think in that part, you know what? I don't care. Wake up, Australia. Wake up, Germany. Wake up, Russia. Wake up, China. Wake up, Japan. You know, think about it. This is what blows my mind. How fearful are these people that allow these people to control them like that? How fearful are they that there are armies and armies and armies? Well, let me tell you right now. You form together. You overthrow it. Look at the walls of Jericho. They were outnumbered. And they knew they were outnumbered. They were fearful. God said, just walk around. Cry, sing a song, yell out. They became so mad inside there, they killed each other. God doesn't need us. He just needs us to be obedient when he calls us. God doesn't need your money. He wants you to be obedient when he calls you. You may sit back and go, man, I'm done listening to this guy. Okay, go find some other pleasant, watered down, cold teaching. And I'm going to keep moving on. I'll reach back out to you as one person did. I'm leaving. Okay. The door's always open. Come on back in. We'll wash you up. Get you some clean clothes. I'll put some food on. We'll sit down and talk about it. Because that's what we are supposed to do. Back in the day, I'd be ready to throw fists. Again, what was in me was mightier than myself. What was in me gave me strength like Samson. And that's truthful. I'm telling you, people, I could bring on people that would testify. Man, where do you get the strength? I told you wouldn't believe me. And I know some people might go, well, man, if he got it, I got it. Yeah? Well, go right down that avenue. Go right down that avenue, because I'll tell you what you're also going to see. You're also going to see weightless nights. You're also going to be tormented by the other demons. Are you ready for that? Go ahead. Roll the dice. Go down that avenue. Chase that thunder, as we used to call it. People around us go, what thunder? You don't want into this world. You don't want to come down this avenue. Because life is what we see. We are visual creatures. Well, where are we at in our walk? I want you to start examining yourself. I want you to take a deep breath. Grab some paper, grab a pen, grab a pencil, grab a crayon, grab some chalk, grab a marker, whatever you have. Paint, Play-Doh. Good luck with that one, but at least you still could form some kind of words. Roll little tiny Play-Doh balls and spread it out. Never mind. We're going to Arts and Craft Day now. No, just kidding. But anyways, people, I want you to write down. And I really want you to be truthful. No one's going to see it but yourself. And if you think someone's going to stumble across it, what I did was, and I'm not saying you have to do this. I mean, we got paper shredders today. I actually put mine in an envelope once and I sealed it up. And I went out to that mountain where I used to yell at God. And I burned it. And as the smoke was going up, I fell to my knees. And I was crying. Because I was shameful. I was shameful of the stuff that I've done. I was shameful of the things that I have opened my eyes to. See, I don't need the tree, the forbidden tree. I walked in there and chopped the dang gone thing down myself and ate all the fruit. I didn't want just one. I had to have every piece of fruit on that forbidden tree. Because the realm I was in, it was all mine. I didn't need money. Money came to me. I didn't need drugs. They came to me. Glad you asked. Yeah, the girl. Well, as we sat there, she says, I've watched you at different parties. I said, really? That's interesting because I've never seen you. She said, was you looking? No. I'm not one of these people like my friends over here that get to drinking and they look for who am I taking home tonight. Now you got to be careful using this because I used this before with a family member and they accused me of wanting to have sex with them. All because of the way I said it, but I said in the reality term, I didn't use the word, I used back in the day when we drank, people were looking for who's going to F me. And the way that I worded it, they thought I was coming on to them. This is how sick twisted this world is. Because I put something one way, and that's why I said, if you don't understand it, ask me. Just don't assume something. You want to grab the rock out of the hand? Go ahead, I'll give you my rock. You can cast my own rock back at me. You know what? I probably deserved it. Right. Do I deserve to be ripped down and shredded through a shredder and then put out of a paper shredder into a wood chipper, taken out of the wood chipper, and then burnt? Because that's exactly what my family has done to me. They're liars like the devil himself. They think that their soul is so important that I'm willing to give mine. Are you crazy? This is nonsense, but this is what's going on. But anyways, just give you a little history of why some of my family, and I keep them far back, as far away. I'm glad when Lord, I'll remind me of the boat and ropes. Just come on and comment if I don't get back to it. Come on and comment. Hey, tell us about the boat and the ropes. Man, you will probably sit back in your chairs or whatever and go, wow. I still think about it. And I sit back and all I can do is fall at Jesus' feet and kiss him. And I mean, literally, I have knelt down and kissed his feet. I felt so worthless. When you go into heaven and you first see him, it's like that song, I Can Only Imagine what it'll be like. Will I dance for you? Will I fall down to my knees? I tell you what, I fell straight to my knees. First time I ever laid eyes on him, I knew he was the Christ. I knew he was the Messiah. I knew he was the King of all kings, the Lion of Judah. I knew he was the Prince of Peace. You felt it. You knew it. I didn't have to have somebody tell me, hey, that's Jesus over there. You think I already know it. I felt it. I felt his love. I felt the power of him. I felt the authority figure. I was kind of like Mary running in there with the expensive cologne, per se, and dumping it on his feet, and wiping his feet with her hair. So, all I could do is cry and kiss his feet. I've never kissed anybody's feet that I know of, maybe my kids when they were little. I don't remember a lot of it. I really don't. I worked so much. It was to get away from the evil. Not saying my right was right, but it was right for me at the time. I didn't end up in prison. But I was in prison. I was in prison of my own self. That's a scary thought. When you become imprisoned in yourself, what does that mean? Don't really have a lot of time to go into that one. Comment on that one, and I'll give it. And I'm at that teaching alone will break this depression. I guarantee it. It will break depression. That teaching alone. It's amazing these rambling days that I have and these rambling thoughts. This is what I do all day. What you're seeing right now, drive, and this stuff does not leave my head. It doesn't stop. It's like a constant news feed. I know the way I pronounce things, I know things are a little irritating, a little annoying. The way that I come back and talk about certain things, the way that I confront things. Well, people, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with confronting the devil? How many devils do you got in your life that you won't confront? How many's overpowering you and make you do things you don't want to do? Confront that devil and tell the devil to get out of your life. Get away from me, Satan. Jesus even spoke that to Peter. Why are we so shocked by this? The girl, yes, right, I'm getting back. The boomerang just smacked me. I'm getting there. She says, so you really don't hook up with people? No? Is that surprising to you? Why? Do you not find yourself attractive? No? I have a very low self-esteem. Look at myself. I'm a bad person. You're best off to go find your little one-night stand somewhere else and go on. I am poison to your spirit. You seem like a good, intelligent person. You don't want to mix yourself into a mix. She says, you read me wrong. I said, okay. She says, you're not the predator. You're the prey. I said, what in the world are you talking about? I said, you're really starting to irritate me. Seriously. I don't want to be bothered. Go from me. You're why I'm here. I looked down at her right wrist. I said, flip your wrist over. I seen the mark. I said, what legion do you come from? She spoke. She says, I'm here to give you the power and authority. I said, you ain't here to give me nothing. I don't need what you have. But do you see? And I'm telling you, very beautiful girl. Very beautiful. I mean, I had a couple guys come over and go, even whisper in my ear like, duh, like she can't hear you. I said, man, I've been trying for weeks to get hooked up with her. What the heck are we doing? Walking in a meat market? I'll take that piece of steak right there. No, that one. No, and you keep moving your finger because the candy looks so good over there. Hold on, I'll come back to the steak. That chocolate's calling me. Hold on a minute. Now this section over here is calling me. Man, that chicken breast looks really good. I gotta go. Well, what's wrong? What do you mean, what's wrong? I'm telling you, I got to go. You go over there. But it's not what you thought. What you were just talking to was better. I'll work on this one later. That's what we do. How many people have you laid down with? And how is your spirit feeling? After a while, you become numb. See, I wasn't like that. I wasn't about trying to do that. Why people called me gay. Call me what you want. Look up the word gay. It means I'm happy. Please don't say that because I'm not happy. Would a happy person be sitting here drinking bottles of alcohol and shoving drug substance into their body? No. I can't get the demons out of my head. I can't get this feeling away from me. At any moment, you black out. You ever hear people say, I black out, I don't remember? Or I heard voices and it made me do it, I don't remember. It's true. There's a dark blackout that you don't have no recall over your body. The demons take possession. It is so scary. I literally have watched myself do stuff. So I guess in the same concept, I would have to go on, if I went on a lie detector and go, do you recall this? Yes, but I didn't do it. What do you mean? I watched myself do it, but I didn't do it. Yeah, right. They're gonna lock me up in a nut ward somewhere, and I'd rather not go there. I've been in those places. Not so great. You gotta look at life. If I would have surrendered to that girl that night, My spirit would have entered with hers and hers in mine. What happens when you lay down with someone? Now you're denying that spirit, that intimate connection. It's intimate because it means something to God. And we're wasting it around like it's nothing. You know, and the amazing thing about YouTube and coming on channels, people make their own names. Half the time you don't know if you're talking to a male or a female. Could be good, could be bad. I don't have a picture of mine, like as if I would need it at this point, because I don't know how to do all that stuff. And I truly don't. What I tell you people is real. What I'm sharing with you is real. How I feel about things, it is all real. You know, sometimes we go through life and we try to find the pursuit of happiness, I guess. I'm only happy because of what Christ has done for me. I can only be the person I am because if I was that person I was, I sure wouldn't be on here. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd be pipering the people into hell. And I'm sure when you probably have that split moment going, hey, thanks a lot. In reality, that never happens. You would think if you had your sound mind and you went into hell, for a split moment you see people and then they disappear. You don't think about nothing but how to make the torture stop. You don't have time to look around you because you're too busy focusing and seeing heaven. That's your punishment too. You can believe what you want. You can believe there's no animals. You can believe there's no garden. You can believe that. Believe whatever you want. One person said, well, somebody told me that when we go to heaven, we go to work. And we come home just like we do here. So what's the sense of going to heaven? I don't know. I can't honestly say that's true, but I've never seen people working. I've never seen people going down the streets picking up litter because we don't litter in heaven. Look at our world. It's disgusting. People throw stuff out there. People don't even hide it anymore. Unlawful to litter. Unlawful. It's unlawful for what you're doing to God. It's unlawful for what you're doing to Jesus. And you want us to sit back and put up with it. Well, I don't care. You might as well just take my head off now, pull the trigger, put me out of this world. Notice I said put me out of this world. You can't do nothing to me. I've been there. I died. I'm fearful of God now, today, more than I've ever had. Today, as we stand here, January 20th of 2023. Isn't that something? 2020. Today, 2023. Forget January and the 23 and put it together, 2020. Today's you got 2020 vision. Open your eyes. You gotta look for them hidden Easter eggs and things sometimes, people, because they're there. Movies are full of them. If we're too busy watching how many body counts and how much this, I mean, think about it. I know people back in the day, I was like, why are you picking up this movie? Because I told you, I had so many dang on movies. I said, why are you picking up that one? Because there's sex scenes in it. Are you insane? Same person would go to the strip clubs. I knew his wife. She knew what he did. He did it before. And I was like, this doesn't bother you? She goes, No, I married the guy knowing what he was. So why would I be upset? I can't change someone, but I can do the right things. It's like this. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Now I look back at it and go, man, she was a brilliant woman. I ran into her probably about 6 to 8 months after my first divorce. And she come up and she says, I hear you got a divorce. I was like, news travels fast, doesn't it? She says, how long did it take you to finally open and realize what you were doing in life? I said, long enough to get my kids old enough to where I didn't have to pay a babysitter and try to figure out more financial that I didn't need to work more hours than I was already doing. I know it doesn't make sense to people, but instead, people want to talk and come up with their own theory on things instead of coming to the horse itself. Well, in reality, if you ever watched the show Mr. Ed, back in the day, I'm way back, they put peanut butter in this thing's mouth to get it to move its mouth. The horse really didn't talk. Or maybe it did. The Bible says a donkey spoke. Either way, I sat with her a little bit. She was going through some issues herself. And it was like one of those moments where I looked her in the eyes and she looked at me and she goes, all these years we've known each other, you've never came on to me, you've never made a pass at me, you've never tried to do anything out of the unordinary. I said, when you walk in the pale moon and you walked on steps that shift, you've walked into the blood layers. It's something you don't bring no one into. So he looked at me and goes, what in the world does any of that mean? Exactly. It's why when I pray for people, I truly mean what I'm praying for. I truly mean what the Bible says. Lay your life down. If I could save someone, get them back on the right track, and so be it. But I know that God is over me. I know the Lord shall protect me. I had a person, and I say person because you don't know. I'm one of these face the name people anyways. I'd rather be able to see what you look like. It's nothing to do with anything else, because trust me, one day I might actually share more of what's taking place in my life. There was an incident that happened, I think it was last year. My gosh, it was like being caught in a tornado or hurricane, being tossed back in the tornado, and then being thrown out of the tornado, thrown and rolled across glass, picked back up by the hurricane, slammed into buildings, thrown through the buildings, back into the tornado, out of the tornado, and landed on nails. That's how I felt in a matter of seconds. And I tell you, for a split moment, my old ugly self started coming. I was crying on the phone. I hung up the phone on Darlene. I I literally pulled the truck off to the side of the road, and I was still not that far away from home at this point. And I knew, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done, man. I've been pushed beyond my limits. You want to call me and you want to call out and you want to do things, you have no idea what you just awoke. I tell people all the time, be careful what you're about to awake. And I'm telling you this for a reason. The demonic realm is not what people think. You get slipped so fast. And the number one thing you may think is out there is alcohol. It's the easiest thing to get. The people around you, the devil starts putting in there, oh, I'm sorry for your pain. Hey, why don't you come over to this party? Oh, you're so sorry about my pain, you're going to feed me full of alcohol and get me hooked into your nonsense realm. Before you know it, you're doing drugs. Before you know it, you're laying in beds with people. Before you know it, your self-esteem is less and less. Before you know it, the demon's whispering in your ear between 12 and 3 o'clock. Just end it. Come on. It's better over here. Yeah? Well, once you enter, it's Hotel California for sure, that song. You can check in, but you will never leave. And it's true. It's glamorous when you first check in. The further in the hotel you get, it's like The Shining, people. You ever watch the movie The Shining? Huh. That luxurious girl becomes this decayed, maggot-infested person that you're holding. You look in the mirror and you jump back. Yeah, I'd say that'd be enough to make you jump back. It's like digging up a grave after someone's been in the grave for a couple weeks and pulling it out and cuddling. Cuddling? What are we doing? I don't need people in my life. I really don't. I think that months that I spent under that bridge made me realize, truly, the world will never love you. Do I feel love at home? Yes. Is it fulfilling? Yes. Does it make me happy? Well, yes. Well, why'd you pause? Because it's not Jesus' love. Without that, I am nothing. I can't do nothing. I am nothing. Those words are right. If you listen to the devil, do you ever hear Jesus walk up to you and say, you're nothing? You're useless. Those words haunted me for years. I was always trying to prove myself. I was one of those people that I talked about when the boss came in. I would try to shine like the shining star. And the only thing they learned out of that is this guy can work. He can get the work done. They do it to me out here because I move the freight. I move it. So they jam it down my throat. I'm so exhausted some nights. Some nights I get out of this seat. One night, honestly, I was doing my post trip. Where you get out at nighttime, same thing in the morning. You walk around, you inspect the truck, you go through the routines, make sure nothing's leaking, check your lights, blah, 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 blah. I got up, walked back here, didn't even get out and check anything. I just went on post trip and I was so tired, I couldn't even get out of the truck. And I'm like dozing off and I walk back up and shut everything down, put myself in, change the status into sleeper berth. I went back here, I threw some food in the microwave, and that's all I remember. I woke up a few hours later, my legs hurt, Still got my boots on. Blankets are all over the place. I don't know what I did. It was a mess back here. And I'm like, good grief, what in the world? And I'm looking around, I didn't even know where I was at. Kind of like this morning, I woke up and I thought I was somewhere else. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind the ball right now. That 8-ball, that cue ball is about to come and hit me, and I was the 8-ball, and I was about to fall in that pocket. I'm in big trouble. This load is going to be late. I had no clue where I was at. It's why I have a problem when people start talking about slavery. Us white people don't know. Man, we're all slaves. Look around you. Look at what's going on. I'm sorry you went through what you went through. But there was also many things in history that you need to really know before you use something. Stop letting the devil get in your heads, people. I'm saying this because I just seen another incident that happened It was an 80-year-old lady, for crying out loud. What did she do? She did not deserve to be beaten up and robbed. I don't care what the past's done. It doesn't make it right. What you're doing is not right. It's not going to make anything right. But in the end, you're going to pay for what you've done. You know, that eye for the eye that people believe? Well, you're going to get what's yours, and you're going to get your reward. The girl, that's right, Boomerang. I sat there probably most of the night talking to her. It was kind of interesting. Because once we realized what the cards were on the table, you know, you flip it over cards, and I'm just going to use an actual card, a deck of cards. I'm not going to go into the other part of it. The cards were shuffled. She cut the deck. She drew 5, I drew 5. She drew 5 and I drew 5. This is for real. For real now. Our hand stayed on the table the whole time. When it was said and done, we're flipping the cards over one at a time. Certain cards I would leave laying down, she would do the same. We scooted all the other cards back into a pile and set it off to our left. Set it off to our left. Out of the cards that we had folded down in front of us, pick 4 cards, put the rest in the pile. So we grabbed the 4 cards and we put them, stacked her cards 4 and I put my 4 right in front of hers. One by one we flipped them over. But before we got to the second card to flip it over, she says, grab the top card of your pile and I'll grab the top card of my pile. And we'll put it in there in case we need a tiebreaker. I said, okay. So I grabbed the card and slid it over there. I didn't look at it. We flipped the cards one by one. Ace, ace. Ace of spades, ace of spades. Ace of hearts, ace of hearts. Ace of diamond. And I'm like looking at her and she's smiling. I tapped the top of the card and I said, difference is this. We may all play with aces, but I got something that's going to defeat you. And I tapped the top of the card. She said, what? I said, I got the blue joker. She said, there is no blue jokers. I said, just like this deck has two of each ace, but every card in there only has one of the same suit. So how do we have two of the same suit and they're all aces? Flip your joker. Flip your red joker over. How do you know I got a joker? It's impossible you to know this. I said, flip your red joker. She flipped it over and looked at me. I flipped over my card, the blue joker. She goes, I'm done. I need to exit. I said, yes, I know. Goodbye. This, my friends, is why I look the devil in the eye and confront it. God has allowed me to go through life and to see things in the spiritual and the earth form. So did the devil. See, the devil was creating something that he thought he was going to have for life. He didn't put the cards on the table right because he was trying to go to God and play checkers when God was playing chess all along. God holds the final end. When you hear checkmate, you know it's done. Either way, we have somewhere we are going. It's what you believe. I'm going to end this right here. I just want to. I don't like to give too much of one particular ordeal. But as I always say, if there's more on something you want to hear, let me know. I'll be more than happy to open up and come into bits and parts of things and touch more on it. But either way, I'm not going to pray on this one, but I will say real quick, the reason why, because sometimes in prayer, the Spirit will come in me, and I am driving, so that's the reason. But I will say, may God be over you, may God be with you, may the Lord's presence be known in your day or your night. Whenever you see this, let you be filled of His presence, let His protections, His favor, His glory, and let your tables never see a day without no food. May your finances be blessed, and may you have a very God day. I love you guys. Till the next one.